Mason Greenwood cannot step on the football field until he proves he is innocent in the court of law. If you're unaware of the situation surrounding Mason Greenwood, let me explain. Mason Greenwood was accused of domestic violence and rape by his ex-girlfriend Harriet Robson. On her Instagram account last evening, she shared photos of the physical abuse that was done by Mason Greenwood, where she had bruises on her arm, her feet, her legs, and she shared a photo of those blood coming out of her mouth. But not only that, she also shared an audio. It was clear that Mason Greenwood crossed the line and raped her. So in the audio, what we heard was Harriet Robson saying no to sex, and Mason Greenwood wanting to have sex, and he forced himself onto her, which is clearly rape. You cannot do that. That is rape. And if Mason Greenwood is found guilty of all charges, if he's found guilty in court of law that he has raped this woman, he has domestic violence against this woman, he should be charged like a normal human being and put in jail for the rest of his life, and his career should be over. And Harriet Robson should be given all the help that she needs to get back on her feet. It's absolutely awful what is going on in sports right now. Every single week, we're hearing news come out of players being charged with domestic violence, with rape and other violence, and they're getting away with it. Why are they getting away with all these criminal charges? They're getting away with it because they're famous, because they have money, and because they're talented. In court of law, these athletes are not being treated like a normal human being. When normal human beings commit the same crime that Mason Greenwood and all these other people have committed, they get put into jail for the rest of their life of 20, 30 years. But what's happening to these athletes is they're getting 2 years, 3 years in court of law. And so they think they can just do whatever they want. They think they're above the law because they're not going to get charged because they got fame, they got money, they're talented. And it's absolutely pathetic what is going on in sports. It's becoming harder to watch sports now because every single time you turn on NFL, you turn on English Premier League, you turn on NBA, you know there's people that are playing that have rape charges, that have domestic violence charges, that have other violent charges. But they're allowed to play the sports that they want to play. They're allowed to get away with it because they're talented, they got money, they got fame. And it's hard to cheer for your teams because on your teams you have people that have been charged with heinous crimes. I'm a Manchester United fan. This kid was supposed to be a generational talent, and he just threw his career away. He threw his career away. And there's a lot of people on Twitter that are going innocent until proven guilty, which I agree with. I agree with innocent until proven guilty. But according to the evidence that has been provided up to this point, it looks bad. It looks very bad, and it looks like he did the crime. And he should be charged according to the evidence that has been presented. It's awful. He's only 20 years old. He's only 20 years old and he's doing stuff like this. Like, this is getting awful. The court of law needs to come down hard on every single athlete that do awful stuff like this. If an athlete is found guilty of rape, domestic violence, they should be charged for that crime like how normal human beings are charged. If a normal human being does a thing like rape, you know what happens to them? They get arrested right away, they're put into jail, they don't walk around normally like nothing's going on, they're put into jail, they wait until the court hearing, and they stay in jail until their court hearing, then they go to the court hearing, and if they can prove they're innocent, guess what? They will set for free, but if they can't, they will be in jail for the rest of their life. What happens to these athletes? They get accused. The teams comes out with their message like, we're looking into it, we're looking for all the evidence, then we're going to come down hard on this player if it's truth. And then nothing happens to the player. The player is still in training, he's still walking around like nothing's going on, he's still getting his groceries, getting into his expensive car, riding around like nothing's going on. And then he has his court hearing in like two months, he can freely walk around. And then he gets his court hearing, and then he gets let off for free. It's a joke what's going on. These athletes are getting away with such heinous crimes because they're popular, because they got fame, because they got money, and because they're talented. If it's truth what Mason Greenwood has done, he has ruined his career, he was supposed to be the next big thing, he's not going to be anymore, and he's going to be put into jail for the rest of his life. That's what I hope. I hope the court of law comes down hard on this player and he's put to jail for the rest of his life. It's hurtful, man. It hurts. And I feel so sorry for the woman. I feel so sorry. There's so many people on Twitter right now. You can go and you can see that it's going innocent until proven guilty. You have a lot of people on Twitter memeing the stuff. Like, dude, do you not realize how awful things he's being accused of? This is nothing to be joking about. I don't care if you're a rival fan, I don't care if you're an Arsenal fan, if you're a Liverpool fan. We should all come together. We should change the sports world by the way that we talk and we praise players. We need to stop praising players just because they're talented, because they're good at what they do. And we start praising players that are doing great things off the court for the community. Someone like Marcus Rashford, we should try praising him. We should try telling kids that be like Marcus Rashford, be like someone who's trying to feed over 1 million kids in the United Kingdom who don't have enough nutrition, who don't have enough food because of their family's economics. So we should tell kids to be like someone like Marcus Rashford. We should praise players that are doing great things off the court, that have great charities, that are trying to change the world. And not just praise players because they're talented, because they're good at the sport, in my opinion. And we should change the court of law. The court of law needs to change. The court of law needs to charge these athletes the same sentence that they give to normal human beings. So if I'm getting 20 years for something, then the athlete should be getting 20 years. We need to make the sports world a better place for everyone. And right now it is not. Right now we're seeing a lot of women not be treated equally by these athletes, and that's not good. So let's change it for the better.